Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good, beautiful Wednesday afternoon. I'm Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
And I'm Mike Norfield with Visiting Agents of Lynchburg.
And you are listening to Talk Local to Me on Grove Street FM. And we have a great show today. We were just talking about, we have a artist and an engineer on the show today. So we're going to pair those up and have some really great talks about some really great topics. And before we do that, though, I do want to put out, journal. Yeah, okay, great. I should hopefully be a new grandma by this time next week.
Fantastic.
Yep, I'm super excited. I'm waiting. So my son-in-law thought last night would be the fun time to call me at about 9:30. Oh yeah, no. He calls me. I'm laying on my couch watching TV, curled up on a blanket, and I answer the phone, and he's like, "Hey, where are you?" I was like, "I'm at home." And he's like, "Well, you shouldn't be." I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, I think it's go time. I almost face planted off the couch because I was trying to get up so quick and my feet got tangled up in a blanket. And then he was like, "Yeah, no, I'm just kidding."
He should have texted Chris. He should have texted Chris and told him, videotape Heather. I'm getting ready to call.
He should have. He really should have. So, yeah. So he was like, "Well, I was just making sure, you're training. You were ready to roll." And I was like, I said, "Have you ever heard of The Boy That Cried Wolf?" He goes, "Well, I've got 2 more times to go."
Nice.
So anyway, I still am talking to him, but I'm kind of on the, my phone is like on the ready. Oh, wait, I better turn off my ringer because I do have my ringer on. But anyway, so I'm really excited about that. I'm also really excited about our annual business dinner tomorrow night.
That's tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I hope you know. You have to come help me set up after today.
That's my go-to line for everything. That's today?
Yeah. So annual business dinner tomorrow night. We have got 170 people.
Wow.
Coming for dinner and our awards. And we have some fabulous nominees in, many categories. Actually, one of our speakers today, they've been nominated in one of our categories, and we'll chat with her about that. So, but I always look forward to this event. So I love this event. I also hate this event at the same time, though, because I'm one of those people where I want to give awards to everybody. I want everyone to win because that's just how I am. I can't stand it when I have to get up there and name off 10 businesses in a category, but only one can take home.
Right. But really, they're all winners because even being nominated is a honor.
Yeah.
I've been nominated for 2 awards this year. Sheena's been nominated that's my wife. She's been nominated for 2 awards. Amy, I know you were nominated for an award because I read your little profile thing. It was really cool. It really helped me prepare for today. I probably won't remember any of it, but that's okay. But yeah, it was very cool to kind of get to know the nominees and things like that. So, it is an honor to be nominated for an award, and winning is just kind of that extra thing. And it's really good. So,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not about everyone needs a participation award, but then sometimes I am because I'm like, dang, I just don't want to not give somebody the award. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Central Virginia Business Coalition culture for a second.
Yeah.
Co-opetition, everybody, even competitors working together.
Right.
Rising tides lift all boats. We don't keep success. Everybody wants to see everybody succeed. So I think what you're saying is I wish everybody could win this because I want to see everyone succeed. And just because you don't win an award doesn't mean you're not succeeding. It just means that it's not your turn this time, right?
Yeah.
Because there are so many great businesses in the CVABC. And I read through the nomination list. We had a delegate meeting yesterday, and you showed us the program. Reading through who was nominated for what awards. There's some amazing businesses listed in there, and if it was one person that just had to pick. Right? This is you can't do that.
Yeah. We had close to 25 businesses nominated in various categories. Yeah. And I think that says a lot because you're nominated by your peers. It's, and the way we do the judging, it's not a popularity contest. We don't do where everyone can just vote and vote and vote and vote and vote. And so, you tell your mom and your dad, and your brothers and your cats and your dogs all to get on, and vote. We actually have you fill out a questionnaire and give us the information. And then we send it to a judging panel of different business owners and our board, different people. And they really do sit down and take the time to read through each and every individual questionnaire.
Depending on the judge, they go to Google, look at reviews, they go to the website, look at the information that's there, things like that. And so I was a judge for some of the categories, and I still don't know who won in those categories because I
won't tell him.
She won't tell me.
He's trying.
I tried.
Did the check come through?
Right. So I guess Josh gave me some honey that I will share with you.
That's right. I wasn't nominated. I don't have. I would balance out the table. We had the brilliant and the normal.
Woody says he doesn't. He's not up for an award this year. You're not up for an award this year, are you, Woody?
No,
not that I know of.
So I'm going to nominate you next year.
Probably because he never shows up. So we just said never mind.
I'm going to nominate Woody for an award next year, just so he has to come to the award dinner. So, so I judged that category, and I know what I scored, and I know which one, I thought was, and to be honest with you, it's hard to judge. They were all really close. I try not to end any of mine in a tie because, but the scores are taken from different judges and added together. And so it's kind of an overall feel. And we try not to, Heather tries not to have people judge on categories where like your best friend is in that category, or my wife was up for some awards, so I couldn't judge her category.
I wouldn't let Libby judge any category you were in, just because I know how close you guys are.
Yeah, because she hates me.
I wouldn't allow her.
She would
right. Got to keep it clean.
So we have to be very careful about who judges.
Yeah. So it's but it's. I think it's great the way that it's done because it is like I said, I judged. I still don't know who won. So I think it's great that we were able to kind of put scores to the different things that the businesses that they succeeded on, and some categories had a lot of people and some categories only had a few, and it's still really hard to kind of pick out of that group like which one of this deserves the award, because like, to be honest, they all, like all the ones that I judged, all the businesses that were in the categories all deserve to win that award. So it makes it very difficult to just single one out as the winner.
So good luck to everybody tomorrow night, and looking forward to seeing everyone. And I will very quickly just say that if you are interested in our next event coming up, so this Friday we have coffee talk at Chick-fil-A. So you're going to want to come out there to the corporate office, get some chicken minis, grab some fruit, network, have some fun. And then our Lead On Summit, which is happening in March, is our full day leadership summit. We've got some wonderful speakers this year. Tickets are currently on sale for that as well. And with that, I'm going to quit talking about CVABC stuff and roll into our first guest. So, and I'm going to take something from their Facebook because I saw this today and I was like, okay, so I'm going to read this out because I did not know this until I spoke with Leslie. Leslie was telling me on Tuesday when I saw her that this is National Engineers Week.
It is.
Wow.
So this year it's taking place from February 18th to the 24th. And so it's a great opportunity to recognize and appreciate everything that engineers do for our society. So, when you think about engineering, you don't realize that it's all around. Like when I think of engineering, I'm thinking of these people that are just like doing all these like brilliant mechanical things. I don't even really know what I thought engineering was. It's just not in my wheelhouse.
It's not the people who drive the train. That's a different kind of engineer.
Yeah, that's a different engineer.
We'll probably hear that in a little bit.
But engineering is all around us, from roads and bridges that we travel on to the cars and the planes we ride in. And though it's often unseen, engineering makes our lives easier and safer in hundreds of different ways. And so this week gives us the opportunity to appreciate our engineers and encourage engineers around us to pursue their dreams. And Amy, I know that you do that very well. So I want to introduce Amy Sipe with Accupoint Surveying and Design. How are you?
I'm great. Hug an engineer this week if you got one in your life. Or,
my dad was an engineer, so I'll have to go hug him today.
There
or something.
You go.
Yes, my husband's grandfather, who just recently passed this week, was an engineer at BWXT. So,
my stepdad's an engineer, but he would take it strange if I just hugged him out of the blue.
Yeah,
give me his address. I'll just go hug him randomly. Apparently,
also take that strange too.
I gave a gift
to you.
I gave a gift to a stranger yesterday because she has a twin, and it's a funny story. Like we were crying laughing at the CVABC office, but anyway, hug an engineer day.
Yeah,
sorry,
right.
Sidetracked.
Well, and one of the things I want to point out about Amy before I give the floor over to her and let her tell us more about Accupoint is that, I've been knowing Amy for quite a few years now, and when you think of engineering, you don't necessarily think about women engineers. And so I just want to say, Amy kind of fits that. She's a woman engineer. She's a minority. And I know that you are very proud of that.
Absolutely.
And so I kind of want to turn it over to you and let you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Accupoint.
Sure. So I am the product of having engineers in my life as a child. So I had two uncles who were petroleum engineers. I grew up in the Midwest, so in Oklahoma, so that's a big, oil and gas state. So I had engineers in my life and just kind of was around all that. And my joke is, so I'm a civil engineer, and people always say, well, what do civil engineers do? And I said, stuff that nobody cares about until it's broken. And they're like, what do you mean? That's not fair. And I was like, well, nobody cares that they can't take a shower until the water doesn't come out of the faucet, or that you can't flush a toilet until the sewer's backed up, or that you can't drive on a road until it's closed. So,
right. Or like when they put the tunnel in at Liberty for the bottom part. So my dad's part of nationwide engineering group thing. He got to go watch them like push that through, things like that. And he was like, it was fascinating.
Absolutely.
And that's not the kind of engineering he did. It was more like preventive maintenance, things like that.
But all those things are
together. But he said it was amazing to watch. And, you just think like, oh, what's the big deal? They put a tunnel, but it has a train track goes across the top of it.
Pushing dirt around.
And they did not disassemble the track to put that in. They just pushed it in underneath. Like the fact that somebody figured out how to do that safely
for sure.
And who knows how many hundreds of people drive through that a day and make it through alive. So that's because of an engineer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'm married to an engineer, so our household is all engineering all the time. My sons probably, shrug and roll their eyes a bit at that at times. I have one that thinks he wants to be an engineer, and we've always said, okay, if you want, not required. But so I guess it is kind of in the genes, but science and math, and we love all those things. But it is truly what makes the world go round that we figured out all those things. And it takes all kinds of engineers. And that's one of the things that even cross collaborating with other types of engineers, I do what I do in my field of development and public infrastructure, but then we have, like my husband's a mechanical engineer and he works for the company that he does. And so they do all mechanical things and industrial and, ceramic engineers that make the space shuttle and all those things. So, so many brilliant minds that make the world a better place. But also there's a part of engineering that's business. And that's, kind of where Heather and I have connected over the years is that, engineering is science and math, but in the world that we operate, it's business.
Right.
And so I think, as a young engineer, I knew that I would do all these technical things, but then once I entered the workforce, I was like, oh, I'm building, Walmarts and AutoZones and Sonics and these things that I was like, I never thought about that. And it
you just think like, Starbucks has a model. They just boom, there it is, right?
And so I got to be exposed to this whole other world of corporate America of building rollout programs and development. And it just kind of captured my mind. And that's what I've been doing for such a long time. And so to then help form a company that has become part of the communities. We've been in Lynchburg we're going on 9 years. It'll be 9 years this summer. So
awesome.
We've started there. Then, of course, recently opened in Bedford and have our sights set on other offices. And so continue to grow and just be part of the fabric of our local communities, because I think that because we live here, we take it all personally, and we want to see the best for our communities as far as buildings and companies that are come in to make our communities flourish. So we have grown quite extensively over that almost 9 years. We started in one room downtown and then went to a metal building at the airport. And now we're on Ford Avenue and have our sights set on, more facilities. So last summer I got to go to Las Vegas because we were found to be one of the top fastest 100 growing companies, not just engineering companies,
right?
Asian American companies in the country.
Yeah.
And I was a little overwhelmed at that. I was like, do they know, like, I'm from Lynchburg?
Like, I'm yeah, right, right.
Like, this is Lynchburg.
They have the right business.
And so I thought it was like a scam. And I was like, somebody has to vet this for me.
Right, right. Somebody Google and make sure this isn't
make
like
sure, make some phone calls.
Weird Russian scam.
Yeah,
like somebody trying to get our
I was like, as long as they're not asking us for money.
Right,
no.
right.
So, no, and it was, I went to Las Vegas and represented the company, and we got opportunities to network with other large corporations.
Wow.
And there was a big fancy gala, and I had to wear a sash and a formal gown, and that came back to bite me a couple weeks ago when I turned 50 and my staff put the picture of me in the sash all over. So,
yeah,
there was that.
It's great to have staff that have a sense of humor, right?
Yeah. If you got to laugh, and we have a great time. Work is work, and we work hard. But if you can't laugh, then
so I have found I've worked in a few different industries. I told this story quite a few times this morning at the health fair. People wanted to know like how I got into this and things like that. And I've worked with people who have very serious jobs in our community. There are very not fun jobs. Like you don't think like, oh, like that person, like I bet they tell the best jokes because they're dealing with a very serious issue, like, hospice or funeral homeowners or different things like that. But the people who have the hardest jobs like that our community needs, they usually laugh the hardest because
gotta laugh.
You have to balance it out, right? You've got to balance it out. Like you can't, certain industries can be hard and things like that. And the sense of humor and some of those behind closed doors is just hilarious. And you just wouldn't expect that from what I'll call their like public persona, like, the very serious, somber moments. And
there's been times in my career that, as Heather talked about, it's not a common thing for women to be in engineering.
Right.
I mean, I still get that. And, I've been doing it a long time. And people had asked me, well, who are your mentors? And I'm like, they said, who are the women that you looked up to in engineering? And I was like,
there really aren't that many to pick from.
So I just kind of did it myself,
Right.
And so I think there's been times in my career that I've just had to laugh about some things that happened. And I was like, that is so weird, but whatever,
Yeah.
And so for me to kind of be in a podcast and be talking about, a company that I'm part of and have a great staff and work collaboratively to be part of a community and help build our community through different projects of, housing developments, commercial developments, industrial developments.
Yeah.
That means so much because, we're here and we're active and we only want the best for our community. So it's just a great thing for me to be a part of that.
Right.
I know I spend a lot of time on the road, traveling to different areas or, you go around, you see different businesses that are popping up throughout.
How do you travel?
Not by train, although it's coming through. But no, normally I'm puttering around in my car, but, I go to all these different areas and you see different businesses popping up. And I always take notice when I see members of ours, you have the different yard sign, the things that are out on the, on the side of the road saying, this business is being, built by, maybe it's this construction company or, this electrical company put in the HVAC system. And, and there's, more oftentimes than not, I see Accupoint there when they're just kind of doing that, the ground surveying and the initial, build out. And so, I know recently you guys did Pinnacle Bank. They're getting ready to do their grand opening, soon. And I know they've already moved in, but they're going to be doing that grand opening. But, it's great. And especially for me going around and just seeing all of these businesses and seeing the use of local business and they're not pulling in people from outside of our area to do these jobs anymore because we have people right here in our community. And it's great to see, them utilizing, y'all's services.
Yeah. And that comes up a lot. We've had, we work with people that will come into the area and I'm working with several now and they're like, well, we don't know the area. We don't understand the community. We want to hire local because you understand what the needs are in the community and how best to go about this so that it benefits the community because they want to be part of the community. And we were so excited to be part of the Pinnacle Bank build. And not only were we I'm the engineer of record for that design, but I'm also a customer. Our commercial businesses with them.
Right.
So to be able to support, someone who supports us and turn that around, it was a great opportunity for us to be part of that. So
tell us a little bit. I know you guys offer a lot of different services.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about each one that you guys offer.
Sure. So, we talked about engineering. So I am a licensed civil engineer in the state of Virginia and North Carolina. And so we do civil engineering, which is, like I said before, a lot of infrastructure projects, which we do for municipalities, a lot of commercial design, which can be everything from, multifamily apartments and townhouses to big box construction, self-storage, solar farms. So there's a lot of different design elements of that, and we can handle all those. We also have several land surveyors that are licensed within our company, my partner, Ed Willman, and our head surveyor, Josh Nixon. So those guys are both licensed in the state of Virginia. And so land surveying is a huge part of our business, and one that is often misunderstood. We do a lot of ours with drones. We have several drones, which are super fun, and they're very expensive. So ours are not just the cheap little,
right.
These are
not the $100 drones off Amazon that fly away, and you're like,
tens of thousands
right.
of dollars. Yeah. So we don't fly these around just on a whim, but
not for fun.
No, we have a great crew that runs those and get some awesome images, and so we use those quite frequently. But we're trying to leverage technology to help our business and help our staff. So we want to pour into technology. I mean, if you look at how kids, I have 2 teenagers and how they're learning today, why not leverage technology to help your staff be faster and better and more efficient?
Right.
And
there's no sense in still doing it the hard way.
Right.
Right.
And so the average age of a surveyor in the state of Virginia is around 65. So, yeah.
Average age.
So that is an industry that is highly underserved. And so we are grateful to be part of an industry that's in demand, and engineering as well. So, kids, if you want to go into engineering and surveying, call me.
Right.
With surveying, do y'all do residential as well? Like if someone just has I know, for example, like my parents have a plot of land somewhere near the airport that was given to them by like their parents, and they share it with their, like, it's my aunts and uncles, they all own it or whatever. Right. And they've been talking about, and they're like, well, we just don't even know how big it is or like how, like, what.
And we get that a lot. I mean, we get that a lot. And that's the best time to hire somebody to survey. You don't know what you have, and it can work in your favor and work against you, but you got to know what you have to start with, and then what your options are. I mean, it could be a great tool for investment purposes, to do some development if you want, or leave it to, a lot of people use it to leave to their families as estate planning. They have property. A lot of times people like, oh no, Farmer Joe told me that my property line is right here on this clothesline, and it has been for 50 years. And then we have to be like, well, actually it's 20 feet the other way.
Right.
So, you have more property or have less property than you thought you would. Right. But, it's information that is powerful to know.
That's what I keep trying to tell him.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
He needs to get it looked at, because also he has like his brother's trying to get him to just sell it to him blindly. And I'm like, don't you dare.
Nope.
I was like, nope. Like, we're going to go get it checked out first.
Exactly. And so we do a lot of residential where people, like, I would always recommend it if you live in a subdivision and you're going to put up a fence, because you don't want to put it on somebody else.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, if you put the fence 2 inches under their property, that's now their fence. Or they'll make you take it down.
Right.
Or all sorts of issues.
Yeah. So always, and it's not outrageously expensive, especially if you're in a neighborhood. It's pretty straightforward. But we get a lot of people who are looking to either develop land, or they have land in their family and they want to know what they can do with it. So that's really helpful. And, and then we also have soils division. And that's where, again, they have plots of land that they're going to put a home on, or possibly put some type of development on, and they need a drain field because not every property, and we're in a portion of Virginia that's not all readily served by public infrastructure.
Right.
And so if you don't have any public infrastructure, you're going to need a well and you're going to need septic. And so...
and you've got to make sure that that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't want to buy something if it's not possible. Or,
right.
And there's all different kind of stages of that. So fortunately, with what we do all of those things. So we've kind of tried to eliminate and promote in customer service. You don't have to leave to go find another thing. Oh, well, I have an engineer. Well, now I need a surveyor, or now I need a soils person.
Like a one-stop shop.
And it's all in one umbrella. And we feel like over the years, we've been able to more refine that, because who are we going to point the finger at if there's no balls to be dropped, because it's all in one thing.
Right.
And so for what we were finding is that people would say, oh, well, I got this portion from you guys, but now I got to go over here.
And something doesn't match up.
And then that person's not getting back to me. And so it alleviates that headache. And nobody wants to spend extra time doing that these days. So that we alleviate that headache. And that's kind of how we then came to Leslie's division of opening up a title and escrow business.
Right. Yes.
Is that we would do all these things to help people that have land and wanted to maybe subdivide it and sell parcels off. And then they would go somewhere and they're like, well, now I've got all these components and I don't have anybody to help me close it.
Right.
And so it just kind of made sense. And we even had to, we had several meetings with our agent, Old Republic. And they're like, I don't understand why a survey company and an engineering company would want to tie. And then they just it clicked one day, and then they're like, oh, this is a really good idea.
Right,
and I was like, wow.
It's kind of like a one-stop shop for from the beginning
to
end. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about, farming it out to someone else who might drop the ball or not do what they need to do. And when it's all here in house and you kind of can keep it all running smoothly.
And what's great is, so if you have one person in one division that's doing like the surveying and then all the way to the title close, if there's a question, they're, probably not just walking across the hall, but they have that person, they have that relationship with that person where they can go ask and be like, what the heck is up with this?
Right.
And get an answer instead of
so many times people have done that. They're like, oh, that's way easier than I got to go hunt down somebody and it'll take them days to get back to me.
3 to 5 business days.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe respond to my email. I'm like,
maybe
just hold on just a second. I'll buzz upstairs,
Right.
And so people have said time and time again, it's just so much easier to have one number, one contact, and then they move on. We actually met on a project yesterday that it was a group out of town. They came in and they were one that said, we believe in hiring local because you guys know the community. And so now they're coming back and they want to do a phase 2 on their property. It's a commercial property, and they're like, we're ready for phase 2, and we just want you guys to handle it because we had such a great experience. And that's what as an engineer, but as a business owner too, is you always want to hear that your customers were satisfied, 100%. And so much so that they chose to come back.
Yeah.
So I think that's always been our top focus. To provide that customer service.
And I think it's kind of like, I say this all the time, and it goes for organizations like myself, but also business owners, like you and Mike and Josh over here. Word of mouth is probably one of your best referrals.
Yeah.
I can sit here all day and contact businesses and say, hey, here's what the CVABC does. Here's what we want to do for you. And that's fine. But that's just me kind of tooting my own horn and getting it out, just kind of pushing that information. But tooting my own horn. Here comes the train again. But, when it comes from another business that's like, hey, I've started working with Heather and she does a great job, or, I've had Accupoint come and, they surveyed my land and they told me this, and this. That means way more than just me shooting an email saying, hey, here's what we do. Hope you join us,
right.
Go CVABC. So I think that's great.
And we take, you mentioned reviews that people would look on when you reviewed the businesses. Yeah. We take those seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do.
I use them, when I'm going to a restaurant, I'm like, I was out of town last week and I was like, oh, well, what's good? Let's look on the reviews,
right.
So not that I would look on Yelp to hire other,
No.
Right.
I'm just saying. But, Google reviews for us are important, and we like to get feedback from customers. And I would love for customers to say, how can we improve? What in the process would work better for you?
Mm-hmm.
Because we want it to be customizable and we want it to be personal to them, because it's about that experience. And I think that, over the past few years that we lost that interaction and personal experience because of what we went through in the past 3 or 4 years.
Yes.
Being disconnected. And so we're really trying to push that back, because you will never, unless you call after hours. So if you call after hours, you will get the robot. But during business hours, you will never get a robot. And I am adamant about that, because I want a human to answer the phone and try to help you.
Yeah.
I just feel it's very important. I've gotten phone calls where the people didn't even have business with us and they were confused. And I was like, well, let me make a phone call and I think I can help you. But I had nothing to do with my business, but at least maybe they can take that with them and go, hey, they helped me when I wasn't even a customer.
Right.
So
when they hear somebody, so I have the same approach. So I always say that, like, call us for anything healthcare related.
Right.
Don't call us for engineering, call Accupoint. But because we try to be a resource for our community, because a lot of times when people are looking into care, and there's personal care, there's home health, there's hospice, there's a lot of different things, facilities, all that. So if they Google healthcare or home care, like home health, hospice, and us all come up. So if they call us and they've got the wrong one, hey, you know what? I've got a couple companies that I can give you the numbers for. I always give out more than one because I'm not just referring to one company. Like, they need to have choices, things like that. That's important for us. So I have a whole list in my office. We just go through that list and say, hey, here's some numbers for you. And we've actually gotten people that have never been a customer with us, but they called us for a question. We weren't the answer, but we got them the answer. And they have referred 2-3 people to us. Yep. So, it never, and I have a little post-it note in my office that says the only thing you can't buy more of is reputation. So we live and die by those Google reviews. So we push by those. We actually won 4 awards last week.
I'm sorry. The train should be coming through right
Heather
now.
hates when I talk about my awards. So we had 34 awards on the wall, currently up, and now we have 38. So, but because we had Google reviews and we used a company called Reputation.com, so the national average for our industry is 562 of a reputation score. Ours was 809. The highest you can get is like 962 or something, some random number up in the 900s. So, but yeah, so like the Google reviews and things like that, it's very important. So the only way you get those reviews is by treating your customers better than you expect to be treated yourself, if that makes sense. Yes. So when you call them, you want to be like, I did not expect that. So my wife and I went to a restaurant Friday. The service blew us away so much that we went again Tuesday. So like, and we weren't expecting that. We were like, let's just try out this new place, see how it is. And like, we were literally at the table like, what is going on? This is not normal restaurant. Like somebody came by and said, oh, has anybody taken your order yet? Nope. Oh, is this your first time here? Here's what people seem to like. Right. This is what we get feedback on. And if you have any questions, my name is, I don't remember his name because I don't remember names. And he walked off. And then our waitress came up and was like, oh, I see you met, whatever the guy's name was, and started talking to us, and then like did a great job of explaining what the food options were and things like that. Mm-hmm. So leaving them a Google review because like Absolutely. It blew us away. And I did not expect to get that experience going into this newer restaurant. Things like that. So
and that's, I've done the same. I've done the same thing because I've had people or vendors that the person has gone above and beyond to help us, and I've you go back to laughing. I was like, I'm going to need to speak to your supervisor in that kind of direct, and they're like, oh man, I thought this went really well, and I'm like, I'm going to need to speak to your supervisor.
Yeah.
And so I get the supervisor on the phone, and that they're just loaded for they're just
right.
Oh yeah, they're waiting.
They're waiting for to just get blasted, and I'm like, okay, can I just tell you that Tina did a fabulous job, like,
like
and
on
and on and on. Yeah. And then they're like, oh. And I'm like, I think she should have the rest of the day off or something like that.
Right.
She needs a Starbucks card or something. Like,
yeah. And they're like, I don't know that I've had anybody.
I don't have a form to fill out for this.
Right. So,
right. Yeah.
So, I believe in uplifting people, and that's what we try to. You talked about rising tides, raise all the boats. I want that for every person in our organization.
Right.
I want that for all our customers, because when we better our employees, whether it's through technology or training, we give a better product and our customers have a better experience. And then it just is self-fulfilling at that point. So you continue to grow, you continue to get more business, you continue to thrive and make the community better as well. So that's kind of our push behind that of, leverage technology and different things that we can, because those are going to only help us be a better business.
Right.
So, Amy, tell us, for anyone who's listening, how can they get a hold of you? Where are you located? What's the best way to find out more about Accupoint?
Sure. We, of course, have a website, accupointsurveying.com. So you can always go to the website. We have all the grams and books, and we're on there. So if you go in there and search Accupoint, we're on all those. LinkedIn, of course. Our we're in Lynchburg and Bedford, so you can walk downtown in Bedford and walk right in, or you can walk on Ford Avenue and come into our office. But our main number is 434-610-4334. And if you call that main number, someone will help, a person, an actual human will help you and get you to the right people. And we have such a great admin staff. We get people on the phone that they just immediately, when someone answers the phone, they just start puking out everything that is, and our people are like, I have the person that can help you. Let me get you to that specialist because that is not me.
Right.
So, but they're great at finding the exact person. And sometimes it's multiple people, people have multiple needs in their projects. So we can help you with all those things, engineering and surveying related.
Awesome. So there are 2 questions I ask every guest that comes onto the podcast.
Josh, you better be thinking about your answer.
Oh, it's a tough one.
Okay.
How long have you been a part of the CVABC?
3 years.
Yeah.
3 years?
Yeah.
Okay. 3 years.
Yep.
Okay. And what do you think is the best benefit of being a member of the CVABC?
I think it's the connection. Just being connected to other businesses and knowing what's out there. Heather's awesome at keeping us plugged in and knowing where we can fit with other people. We're definitely about collaboration. Clearly engineering is not a need that, people are just walking down the street and go, hey, I need an engineer today.
Right.
Or, hey, I need some soils work today. Or, hey, I'm going to, close a real estate deal today and need a title settlement firm. So we like to be collaborators with other businesses. And that's what was fun about the Pinnacle Bank job and other things that we've done for different CVAB members too. Mm-hmm. So it's helping each other thrive and making it just goes back to that everyone wins.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, thank you for coming in with us today. I greatly appreciate it. It's nice to learn more about things I don't know about. And that's what I love about the show is because when our guests come on, I get to learn so much from them when we're here talking to you guys. So thank you so much for coming. And we're going to have a quick commercial and then I will be right back with the man, the myth, the legend, Josh Irvin.
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care, is now serving Lynchburg and the surrounding counties from their new location at 2201 Linghorn Road, providing our community with personal care services, including assistance with bathing, dressing, meal preparation, grocery shopping, light housekeeping, and much more. Our trained staff have to pass all of our requirements for a high standard of care, ensuring that you have a compassionate, kind, and qualified caregiver. Our office team works with you as a partner in providing care for you or your family member to make the task of starting and continuing care an easier process. At Visiting Angels, we understand that every individual is different. That's why our team of dedicated caregivers is committed to providing tailored assistance to make you happier and healthier at home. Call 434-439-4698 to learn more about our services and schedule a free in-home, no-obligation consultation. Trust Visiting Angels in Lynchburg to bring peace of mind to you and your loved ones.
America's Choice in Home Care.
Man, that was a great commercial.
That was a good commercial.
It was, wasn't it, Josh?
I like the jingle.
Fabulous.
It's going to be stuck in my head all day.
Good. Yes. That's great. So tell 45 people today.
I will.
If you're listening to this podcast and you're a business owner or work at a business and you're like, hey, that'd be cool if I had a commercial on Talk Local to Me. That way, I could hear my own business. Do that. You reach out to us at cvabc.org or Heather at cvabc.org. And ask more information about how can I sponsor the show.
And I don't think people, if you're listening in and, I know we've got a lot of live listeners that listen each week. Of course, the downloads, because when, this Talk Local to Me is uploaded to everywhere you find your podcast at.
Millions
so,
of listeners.
Apple and Spotify and all the things. So it's not just here. Yeah. But we do. So your commercial's not just getting out just in this hour. It's going to be consistently when people are downloading, but also because Grove Street FM, that app, once you download it, it is blowing up. I mean, just recently, people that are downloading the app and listening for the local content alone.
And you've got a few new shows too, Whitty.
Here, yeah.
So sorry, Heather.
That's okay. That's what I was getting to.
Yeah, Tom in the lineup. Yeah. And that train, man, I love the train.
Yeah, now it's time for a different kind of engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes the train.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hello.
So we have in the studio with us
The
Josh.
world famous.
Yeah, the world famous Josh Urban, everyone. How are you?
I am great. I'm just loving being here. What a great show. What a great studio. Complete with your very own pet train. This is pretty
Pet
awesome.
train. Yes, and I will quickly say this episode for me is sponsored by LJ's Cafe right down the street because I needed a good pick me up. I stopped in and saw my friend Autumn there, and she hooked me up with a mocha frappe that is absolutely delicious. So if you're in the Bedford area and you're looking for a coffee pick me up, they're located in the 620 building, right behind us, right behind the train tracks here.
I think you're saying it wrong, though, because if it's a caffeine commercial, it's conveniently located in 600 building right behind the train tracks. Get yours today. Now.
See, this is why we need Josh.
Woody, did you get a text asking what kind of coffee you wanted today?
He did not.
I did not.
I didn't either.
It's
That's
okay. It's all right.
In my defense, it was a very split second decision. Like I was driving past it and then I actually whipped around. May or may not have U-turned illegally right
So
there.
Woody, we'll
And
just
came back.
we'll go up to 620 one day and we'll just give them, like, if Heather comes in, just make these 2 coffees or 3 coffees, one for Casey too, and just charge her for him.
That's
and
right.
send it.
That-
Put it on her tab.
Do it.
Yeah.
Triple the price of everything.
Yeah. So
So, Josh,
Yes.
you do so many things, I feel. You are a man of many talents.
it's a deep.
That's one way to
He's an
put it.
author.
Yes.
Found out today he's a beekeeper.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
So, electric guitarist?
Yes.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I will say we recently had an event, our Dream On Summit, and you emceed that event
I
and
did such a great job.
such a great job.
Thank you.
You kept everybody just,
Entertained.
entertained,
Awake.
and uplifted, and all the things during that event. And
Yeah.
Even I think we had a speaker that was a little hesitant about, some of the things he needed to do, and you stepped in and kind of helped him get through his hour, with all the
So
things.
much fun.
So, yeah, it
So
was
much fun.
great.
I felt like we're doing podcasting live on stage, It was
Yeah.
Right.
the reason that event happened is because of
ABC.
ABC. I always stumble over the name.
That's okay.
Right.
I do too.
Yeah, and I wanted to tell you the story. Like Mike, you asked the question earlier of Amy, how'd you get involved? How long have you been a member?
Yeah.
And it ties right into that. Should I jump into it? I don't want
I
to.
mean, yeah, we can do
All
it
right.
now if you want to do it now.
Let me ask you the question we ask every
Go ahead.
podcast ghost. Every podcast ghost. Every podcast guest. All right. So how long have you been a part of the CVABC?
1 year.
All right. And what is your favorite benefit of the CVABC? And then go into your story of how that happened.
Absolutely. I think my favorite benefit is just to get inspired by how many just really talented, dedicated people are working in the community. I'm not originally from the area, and I'm from a bigger city. And when you drive into a little town, it's hard to see what's going on. And so when you come into this place, you're like, wow, this is just chock full of people who are just building incredible things. And that's really been cool. So, and that's actually sort of how I came to do that summit. Is I walked into your awards dinner last year, and one of my friends brought me there, and I said, like, what should I wear? And she didn't really know me, so like, I'm a handle with care person, and she didn't realize that. So
I'm going to start saying that about me. I'm a handle with care person.
So I rolled up with my big boy shoes, which are like bright yellow Chuck Taylors,
Mm-hmm.
and I walk into this. Yeah, oh no, I was hoping you wouldn't. And I walk into this fancy awards dinner wearing my bright yellow Chuck Taylors, and I'm like,
Did you not wear those into the pond? Or those different?
I did. They were the same ones they had worn off.
Yes.
Right. So
Okay, we'll talk about
those
that
are
later.
my important shoes. Yeah, we did a polar plunge, but they had, lost their luster by that time, and definitely lost the luster afterwards. So walk in with these bright yellow Chuck Taylors to this new business networking group that I want to make a good impression with, right? I'm like, oh no, right? And the first person that I meet is also wearing Chuck Taylors. It's Kristen Breedlove. And
they probably had glitter.
they had glitter on them.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, thank goodness somebody else was wearing Chucks. So I got to know her and her husband, Chris, and so we became friends through that. And then I ended up doing her summit. So it's just a wonderful CVABC story of networking. You're like,
and that collaboration and
collaboration,
working together, and
Well, and the great part about the Dream On Summit too is it was also an offshoot of our Lead On Summit. So we started that, and Minnie's Travel Boutique is our presenting sponsor of that event, and so we got to thinking,
and they got inspired at that event.
How do we keep this going? How do we keep this motivation happening in different ways? And that's kind of how that came about as well.
It's what, and motivation for a business owner, and I don't know your exact audience, but I would imagine a lot of business owners and just, everybody wants to do something cool,
right?
Are listening in, and it's like, what, how do you keep that going?
Yeah.
And that's something with this that we can get into a little bit later, but that's a topic that really interests me. And I think the community is really helpful for that. So anytime I come to a coffee talk or an event or something, I leave really like, okay, I'm going to I leave with a pocket full of business cards and interesting people to call. I'm like, I'm gonna double down on this and make it happen.
Well, I think that's one thing that makes the Central Virginia Business Coalition, I say, unique in a way, because we have so many various different types of businesses that we work with. It's not, a cookie cutter. Like, it's not, you're going to have the same people here all the time, the same sorts of businesses. So even where like the Lead On Summit was very business related, and it really attracted a lot of those business owners, managers, leaders, and things. The Dream On Summit was more for those artisans, those people that were dreaming big and trying to do differences, and the creatives. And
the artisans. I like that. I'm going to steal that. I'm an artisan.
Yeah.
You are.
I make bread.
You make you make money. So, but I think that's where, you do a great job with all the different things you do, because you can touch and tap into so many different business owners and find what's best for them. What's a best fit for them? Do they need you to be an MC? Do they need you to DJ something? Do they need you to come out and just tell a story? Do they need, there's so many different things that you do, Josh, that kind of ties in to all these different types of businesses. And I think that's one thing that I'm very proud of with our organization is the businesses themselves, how many we have that
really cool
do
people.
So many different things. And I'm constantly in awe of what our members do and how they work together and how they build each other up. And so you do a great job with that in building up businesses, because you've been actually a member now right at a year. We met, the very first coffee talk we met at was at the Ridgeview Event Center.
Right, which probably means I need to pull out my checkbook pretty soon.
Yeah, actually let me send you a bill right now.
Yeah, right.
Woody already locked the door. You can't leave.
That's right. Oh, maybe I'll join the stack of all the other ones.
Right.
Don't pay those either.
This interview's over. We haven't been, no. But yeah, so tell us a little bit more about, what you do. Like, I know you, like I said, you dabble in a lot of different things, but you have a book, there's a lot. Tell us a little bit more.
It's like, and people say, what do you do? I'm an engineer or something like that. It's there's usually an audience involved, whether they're reading or they're listening. It's on the page or in person. There's usually an audience involved. So I DJ and speak usually in retirement homes. So like Mike, I'm working with the elderly a lot.
Yeah.
And usually in facilities. So I've been doing this. I started out as an electric guitar player and sort of had this really interesting psychological shift along the way. Guitar players lose their minds. Not really like that. But when I first started out, it was like, oh, look at me. And I wanted the world to sit down and just think I was wonderful.
Right.
I think that's a common thing in the creative field. And that doesn't really happen. And if it does, sometimes it will kind of like mess you up sometimes, right? So fortunately, I wasn't talented enough, so that didn't happen to me. So then I started to think, well, what's needed in the world? I love the author Austin Kleon. He wrote Steal Like an Artist. I don't know if you guys have read that book or not, but he's got this great Venn diagram in it. It goes, what loves you, what you love, or what you love, what loves you back, and what the world needs. And at that intersection, if you can find that, that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
So I was sort of stumbling into that. I started out as a guitarist, and then I became a guitar teacher. And then the summers are really slow because everybody's on vacation. So I'm sitting around. I was talking to Mike earlier, and you said, how growth can be hectic and
painful
and stressful and all these things. But the alternative is a lot worse, and you're sitting around with nothing to do. So I went out roaming around and or driving in my car, and I stopped by a daycare center and said, maybe you guys need a music show, and they were closed. So I went down and there was an assisted living place. So I walk in and I give them a business card with 4 pictures of me playing an orange electric guitar and said, I'll play you some Frank Sinatra. And they said, we'll think about it. So I'm leaving. I'm thinking, yeah, that's going to be hard. Frank should play Frank, right? I shouldn't be doing this, right? So I ended up making something I call the Classic Radio Hour. And I go around and I play old records and spin Elvis and Sinatra tunes for nursing homes. And I started at one place and then it just grew to a bunch of different places. So I started to look more in this, like, what do people need instead of what do I want to do?
Right.
But I still want to enjoy what I'm doing, right? Because then they're enjoying the show and it all started to gel like that. Well, I ended up working in this one place we had a podcast at this place actually with the residents. It was really cool. And we had our club where we sit together and talk about interesting things. So I was there a couple times a week, and then COVID happened, and I my calendar was just shot.
Right.
I almost was ruined. And the executive director, God bless him, comes up and says, "Hey, what does your calendar look like?" I said, "It's completely empty." He said, "Do you want it? We'll double your invoice and you can work here just, for a couple of weeks." So 21 months later, I had moved away, but I was still working there 21 months later, and I became the staff DJ. I built a cart. I let a little old lady use a circular saw. She's like, "I've always wanted to try one."
It's hilarious.
It's a miracle that I haven't been sued before,
Right.
or shot, So built a DJ cart. I played over 1,000 shows in the halls there. And I became the activities director. And one day I'm feeling all stressed and I'm wearing buttons today. You can't see this, but I'm wearing buttons today, which is a big deal for me. Usually I wear a t-shirt, but I was wearing buttons and polyester that day. And in my book, Cities on a Hill, I said I was in danger of turning into my shirt. I was in danger of turning into something really kind of plastic and fake. And the bosses were mad at me. I was always refusing to fill out paperwork because I was busy helping people. And it was just like, I was a manager, actually.
You were becoming corporate.
I was becoming corporate, right?
Right.
And this little grandma pulls on my sleeve and she goes, "Hey, Josh, can I tell you something?" I said, "Sure." And she said, "I had a dream that we wrote a book together and sold 1 million copies, and the publisher was calling to arrange a second printing." And I laughed. I thought that was funny. Still paying attention to the bosses who are, have it out for me. And then I'm trying to focus on her. And then she said, "Don't forget about us, okay?" Said, "All right." So I moved away and I thought, I should really witness this time. So because this was a lockdown and families weren't allowed in for a year.
Right.
And everybody has a different opinion of it, but I just want to make sure people know what happened there. So I really wanted to document that as clearly as possible. So I dedicated it to these people, and it's called Cities on a Hill. And the reason it's called Cities on a Hill is it's not a religious book, but the title comes from Sermon on the Mount. And I wrote them a letter when I left, and I said, "You really showed me something. I'm always in entertainment and social media, and I always think I need a lot of listeners and a lot of views and everything. We're all in this world. This is how it works." But the line is, "A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid." What does that mean? So these people were locked away for a year, and their deeds and their grace under just this crushing burden were so powerful, and they lived so well under such miserable and lonely conditions that now thousands of people know about it, because a good deed can't be locked away.
Right.
So it's really been an honor to share that. So I wrote the book. It's called Cities on a Hill. It's local in Roanoke at Book No Further, and in Lynchburg at Gibbons Books. They carry it.
Yeah, I love Gibbons Books.
Oh yeah, great store, man. We had a book signing over there a couple months ago. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
So yes, that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to figure out, what does the world need? What do I like to do? And feed people who are hungry. That's, I guess, what you would say.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you do a great job of that. Whenever I'm in the room with you, I feel greatly uplifted and positive. And so, I just throw that out there to you because you do have this aura of just, positivity and just, yeah, you're just uplifting. So even if I'm in a bad, even when I just needed my coffee and I thought all I needed was this coffee today,
right? I
probably did not need it because Josh would have probably come in here and let's go.
So I needed to jump into a lake. That's what we needed.
Oh yes.
So I know a lot of people have talked to Josh at coffee talks and things like that, and I was just kind of sitting here, just kind of not shocked, but kind of just, I want to say in awe, but that sounds like it's extreme. So,
oh,
but
you
I'll
could
say
be
that.
in awe.
All right.
That's
in
fine.
Awe. In
Somebody
awe. We'll
could
say
be.
that. So, because you're always very energetic and everything like that. When you just talked about that, you got very serious and you got very to the point, and you were just like your story had impact. Like,
Thank you.
It was really good. And so, I think it's funny because a lot of people think I'm this big funny guy, not quite as energetic as you, because you drink more coffee than me or something. I don't know, but it's all the bees. It's all
yes.
yeah.
Sung ones.
But to hear like you're always energetic. You're always happy to see people. You're always supporting people. But then to hear the seriousness of your story in your book, and I have your book on my desk. I've read a couple pages, but my schedule's been so crazy I haven't read it. I'm gonna make a point of taking time for me to read that, because I really want to read it now, because just the passion portrays in different ways. And so the reason I talk about you being energetic and things like that, because I would expect when you tell your story to be very animated and everything, you were just very still, very purposeful, and very like, this really had an impact on my life, and you wanted to share it in the appropriate way. And like, it's amazing to see your passion focused down like that. You know what I mean? Because I expected you to be very animated and things like that.
Right.
And it was great to hear and great to experience your thing. So
thanks,
yeah.
Mike. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's good. I cannot. So I have your book. I haven't made it a priority to read it, but I am now. So
Fantastic.
If you talk to me at Coffee Talk and I've already read it, then I did not sleep at all. But I probably won't read it.
It's an
before
easy
Friday,
read. It's a short book.
Yeah,
it's an easy read.
But it's great. To hear your story and kind of hear, and we've shared that story before, at Coffee Talks, things like that. It's a little harder to concentrate when you got a lot of people talking. But
oh yeah.
So it was great to hear your story today. Like kind of, I'll say one-on-one. I'm gonna pretend like Heather wasn't here. So no, but it was great. So
well, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, and something that I wanted to mention with it that I realized I forgot, and I really appreciate that, is like, if you're listening in and everybody's working on something, I think one of the motivational lessons that I got from hanging out with these people is that there's always something that you can do that's right in front of you. Right there. Right now. And you know what it is.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I know a lot of people have heard, tonight, at least today, we made references to jumping in a lake. And that's another thing I will mention about Josh, is his giving back, and, how much he cares
I paid
about.
$7 to jump into that lake.
Yeah, I did. As did I.
$7 to freeze.
We did $7 to jump in I'm not even going to, it was kind of, I'm not going to lie. I do not like lakes, because I don't like the bottom and how squishy it feels.
It's very squishy.
Right.
And so so we have a nonprofit member, Love Heals, great organization.
Yes.
That was doing a fundraiser where they were raising money for 7 families. So you paid $7 to jump into a freezing cold pond in November. And, it was a polar plunge. And so myself and Josh and a couple other CVABC members
not Mike.
signed up. Not Mike.
I was tied up at work that day and couldn't make it. I did want to go, but I was slammed that week.
So yes, so we signed up to jump into this lake, and now I show up and I'm ready to go. I got just came as is, but Josh here, he won best dress.
I did.
He came. He showed up in like his Christmas hat and yellow chucks and
then lime green swimsuit and blue shirt.
See, I think you should have showed up in the Sasquatch outfit.
Oh, you should have.
In the Bigfoot.
You should have.
To jump in the lake.
Oh, I got it ready. I got it ready for next year.
Okay, good.
Yeah, totally.
That's a legally binding contract.
It was. We got your word on the air, and that was because I've never won an award.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't think I've ever won an award. And I mean, I think it might have been given kind of ironically, but yeah, Sarah saw it. She's like, "Oh man, you're gonna win!"
Yeah,
it was the best defense is a good offense, and I figured that would offend the cold's fashion sensibility.
There you go.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie. I jumped in and I didn't stay in long because it was freezing, and I lost my flip flops because as soon as you jumped in there, it literally sucked you in, and like I couldn't even lift up my foot to get out,
like a bog or something.
So I'm glad I wore like $1 Old Navy flip flops that I didn't really care about. But it was for a great cause. My kids got a kick out of watching. My youngest daughter, her and her best friend came and watched and took video. They got a kick out of watching me do that.
Have we posted this video to Talk Local to Me social media?
We have not. Nobody's seen the video.
Got to see the. Well, then it didn't happen.
I
right?
have the video, but Nobody is going to see said video.
I have sources.
But anyway,
Come on, Mike, help us out.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I think, again, and I keep kind of referencing back to the uniqueness of our members and just what they're willing to do for each other. It constantly blows my mind.
Yeah.
Everyone that showed up and you talked Terry's grandson into going in. And
I heard that story the other day.
It was so fun.
Oh my gosh.
Has he forgiven me yet?
I think he had a blast.
He had a blast.
Yeah.
Terry, I think, was kind of like,
She was so
I can't
nervous.
believe he did that. And
Yeah.
he's nervous, and he didn't have a change of clothes, and it was cold. Like, but I mean, he's still alive. He's still
Right.
dead.
There we go. But did he die?
But
Yeah.
now he has a story.
Yes. Oh, a
Yeah.
great story.
It was so hilarious going into it. My husband kept going, he kept, you need to take a shower immediately. And I was like, so there's not a shower on the property. Like, he was so concerned. He's like, it's going to be dirty and gross and nasty. And like, ponds are full of bacteria. And I'm like, look, dude, I'll be all right. Like,
It smelled like a pond for a couple of days.
Jump out. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it was a lot of fun. And it was fun to do it with you
Absolutely.
and the rest of our members. So yeah. So tell us, Josh, how, we've talked about where we can find your book, but if someone's looking for a DJ or MC or, all of the other things that you do, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Well, should I do the commercial voice? People are like, do you always
Do
have
it.
a radio
I like
voice?
it.
Well, you can find me at joshurban.com. My voice is not usually this low. This microphone is really nice, man. I'm digging it. joshurban.com. That's joshurban.com. And that's got Twitter, Instagram. My blog is joshurban.substack.com. If you're not into the computer, but you like reading the paper, my weekly column appears in the Times-Virginian, the Alta Vista Journal, the Union Star, and the Casewell Messenger. So you can check it all out there. The book is at Givens Books up in Charlottesville at Second Act Books, and over in Roanoke at Book No Further. So tell them I sent you.
Hey, and guys, if you're one of those people that were just thinking at the halfway mark today, I think maybe I would like a commercial on Talk Local to Me, and you just don't want myself or Mike, I bet you we could twist Josh's arm, and he's got perfect commercial voice. Maybe we can bring him in to film your commercials for you and see what we get there. That would be so cool to have him do those, because he definitely has probably a better voice than I do here. And Mike's pretty good. Well,
I have an award-winning voice because I've won a lot of awards.
I got you.
I think everybody's got an award-winning voice here.
Yes.
Right? And it depends what you're selling. So you're going to be good at some things. I'm going to be
right.
Some things. You don't want me to say well, I don't know. I don't think it's good to say on the podcast.
I know. I was watching the filter in his eyes,
like, nope,
and I have been in that seat. Like, no, I shouldn't say that. No, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
No, I should. Okay, I could say no. Probably. Oh, I don't know what to say. So
That's right. Right. Sometimes less is more. Yep. Anyway.
Yes.
But let me know. Be glad to help. So joshurban.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And before we go, Woody.
Hey,
Woody.
I'm here. I'm over here.
So I just want to really quickly throw it to you. Tell us a little bit about the newest addition to the Grove Street FM. I know you guys have a new streaming station on in the morning.
Every morning now,
From 6 to 10 a.m.
6 to 10, you can listen to the Morning Jam. You probably heard them in the area. They've been in the area for a long time. But now they are streaming in the Grove Street FM app live every morning, 6 to 10, Monday through Friday. And then if they're not live, you can listen to Doc Rock Radio, their radio station, which has got a great playlist all 24/7. So the Grove Street FM app has all our local podcasts. We have our own dedicated live channel that we do this show and sports. And now we have a dedicated live channel for Morning Jam and Doc Rock Radio. It
Awesome.
is blowing up.
I have a fun fact.
Yeah.
You want a fun fact?
I would love a fun fact.
So Janet Rose and I used to work together,
Nice.
and she calls me the little brother she never wanted. And
I like
What a compliment.
and so I'm glad that she is part of the Grove Street FM streaming thing. I'm glad that she finally managed to get to my level.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that purely not because I believe it, but because I know I'm going to have her listen to this.
Yes.
So if you could send her this clip, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Even the part now where I'm saying about send her the clip. So
We're
we're happy
love
to have
having
Janet.
them in there. I love having a morning show. I love listening to something consistent in the morning. Kind of gets me in a pattern and
yes.
just eases my mind. And I, fluctuated before, and then I always kind of liked them, but the radio kind of broke up going on the way, and so now they are streaming crystal clear through the app, and I love having all this local content.
Yeah.
in this in this app. And the fact that we're able to do sports, this, that, I have all these shows and just provide a platform for the community is wonderful. So thank you.
Well, I will let you know. And if you do send this clip to Janet, I will finally probably get my husband to listen to Grove Street FM, not because his wife has a show on there called Talk Local to Me that's weekly and live and fabulous, because I think he's listened to maybe one episode in all the 3 years we've been doing the show.
And I think that was the episode you weren't here and he wanted to see how I did.
It was
maybe
Mike's episode,
yeah.
But because he truly loves listening to Janet and Mark. Like he does that.
They do a great job.
That is his go-to morning show.
Yep.
When he's going for work because he's on the road. And he came home a couple weeks ago and he was like, they're gone. Like they're no longer on, because he switched over from LNI to where Janet
Jam.
went. Yeah, to the Morning Jam. And then he came home and he was like, oh, they're gone. And I didn't know what to tell him. I didn't know. So now that I know they're here, I'm going to tell him. And I'll be like, and then potentially on Wednesdays you could listen to me and maybe, but
it's really easy. Your button is right next to that one, so it's not that hard. It's really easy to find.
It's
you're setting up a bad predicament here.
Super easy.
He's not going to do it. He won't. Like there's times even I go back to listen to myself and he'll be like, "Are you listening to yourself?" Yes, I am. Is that okay with you? Can I listen to myself?
I don't ever win that one on a car ride. I'm like, I think I want to listen to an old episode. Sheena, I don't say it very often because I feel like it's kind of egotistical to go back and I'm like, hey, let's listen to my the podcast I allegedly co-host. And especially if it's like my favorite episode this year has been the very first
one on
goals and things. Mm-hmm. So, things like that. But, I try not to do that because Sheena has to hear my voice enough. She is a loyal listener every week and she probably didn't want to hear it again. So, I don't want to put that on her. But anyway.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, so yes. Just throwing that out there. Wanted to make sure we could
download and listen.
Let everybody know.
Having them in the family. It keeps growing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to Talk Local to Me today. Josh, thank you for being on with us.
Thank you both.
Thank you to Amy for coming on. Make sure that if you have not already, you need to download, subscribe, ring a bell, do whatever you need to do. Get those notifications so that you know when the newest episode is uploaded, and check us out. And until then, you can also visit us at...
And I heard the music goes a little longer, so cvabc.org.